Good morning and happy Sunday to you. Nice and relaxed day, hopefully ahead for you. I think that's what Sundays should be about, is just kind of taking a moment before the rest of the week starts to kind of settle all of your energy and thoughts, especially coming into this time of year, this busy season. Before the new year, just kind of letting, taking a moment to really think about what's happening around you in your own life and with the people that are around you, because it's easy to let those distractions take over and rule and just make you feel busy and like you don't have time to slow down and just take a moment for yourself. So that being said, we're going to spend the first few moments focusing on our breathing, so we can just allow the nervous system to really start to settle down and settle in. Again, let's take our ball and we'll just place it underneath. So you're going to be sitting right on top of it, but this time we're not going to do any movement over it. We're just going to sit and breathe and start to focus in on our own energies, how we're feeling. So if you want to close your eyes, you can do that. You can leave them open, whatever's most comfortable for you. Just find a place where you can start to really focus in on your breath coming in through your nose and out through your open mouth. So nice big deep breaths. Starting to take them a little bit deeper and deeper. So we're thinking about all these things that we've learned about the diaphragm and the lungs, so we can take our breath like right down deep into the belly. If you want to place your hands onto your belly, that might be quite a nice thing to do. We're going to come back to this idea of a 3-part breath. So let's place one hand onto the belly, and the other hand's just going to rest onto your chest. So you're going to start to breathe in, and first of all, you're just breathing all the way down to where the hand on the belly is. See if you can fill that whole abdominal space with your breath. And then as you exhale, just allow that to release. Feel how your hand just starts to come towards you, closer to your spine with your exhalation. So take 3 breaths like that, right into your belly. With each exhalation, just feeling like all of those muscles around the belly can relax. All the muscles that you're sitting on top of can just kind of melt over the ball in the chair or whatever you're sitting on. One more deep breath like that. And then start to take that breath a little bit higher. As you're breathing in, you're going to breathe into the belly and then start to feel like you can expand out into your lower ribs. So that's the second part of this breath, is breathing into the ribs, exhaling out of the ribs and out of the belly. So breathing in, fill the abdominal space. Fill those lower ribs with your fresh oxygen coming in, and then exhaling, just release that out of the ribs and out of the belly. One more breath like that. Then we're going to start to take it a little bit higher up so that you can feel the breath coming all the way up to where your upper hand is, the hand resting on the chest. So your first part of your breath is, number 1 is breathing into your belly. Number 2 is breathing into these lower ribs. And then number 3 is breathing right up into where your hand is resting on your chest. Number 3, and then you let the breath go from the chest, 3, from the ribs, 2, and then from the belly, 1. So again, the 3-part breath, 1, 2, 3, and then 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, and then 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, and 3, 2, 1. So keep going with that, counting in your own time, this 3-part breath. Seeing as you go, if you can let your shoulders be nice and relaxed and released. Again, it's this idea that with the exhalation, maybe the exhalation's a little bit longer than the inhalation. You can just let everything start to melt and to relax over the top of your chair or whatever you're sitting on. I'm going to do 3 more 3-part breaths. And then just allow your hands to come away from your chest and your belly. Take the ball from underneath you and just place it onto one side. And just take a few normal breaths now, coming back to a breath that you can just maintain for the rest of your practice. Maybe just noticing, hopefully now that's a little bit deeper and a little bit more expansive. Okay, so from here, you're just going to start to reach one leg out besides you, out to one side. You're sitting into a chair, hopefully, so that you can do this with one foot settling into the floor. And you want to feel like you're not kind of leaning over that one leg. Try to see if you can let both sitting bones be really even underneath you so that you can really just balance your weight between both sides and really get that foot to ground down right out next to you. Good morning, Bud. Happy Sunday to you too. And just start to really think about the edge of that foot, really flattening out if it can, so that you can straighten this whole leg and really think about the edge of that foot grounding into the floor. If you can, you want to try to move over, sorry, I should have said that beforehand. You want to move over so that you have an edge to place your hand onto. So your left leg, let's have that left leg out in front so that your left arm can settle onto the chair. And all we're going to start by doing is really stepping into that foot and starting to reach this right arm up and over the head. And you can start to reach it even farther. Feel how it starts to take you up and over to this left side. Take a couple of deep breaths into that side of the body, the whole right side. And then exhale, slowly start to come back up to where you started. You can bend through that knee now. Take your other hand up and just have a little stretch over to the other side. So we're going to start kind of small. I know that is quite a big stretch to begin with, but we're going to just incrementally spend a little bit longer coming up and over to that side, because it's really important that we're not just focusing on the front or the back of the body, that we're also focusing on the sides of the body. So when we talk about the second part of the breath, breathing into these lower breaths, we can really start to expand that breath out into the sides of the body. And the way to do that is to really kind of start to allow for some length through these sides. So stand through the foot again, start to straighten the leg. Feel how that kind of lifts you up and over. Take your arm out and up and start to reach it towards where the ceiling meets the wall, that corner up at the top of your room. Take a couple of breaths here. Just feel like you're using your left arm so that you're not collapsing over at the other side of your chair. You're really supporting yourself so that you feel like you're lifting up and over your left leg rather than just falling over it. And then bend that knee, start to come back up. You can place your other hand onto that leg, maybe right into that hip, and feel like you can lift up and over your other hip joint. So you're coming over to the other side just for a little counter stretch on this side. And then come back to the center. We're going to do that again. This next time, we're going to add in this little bit of rotation. So if it feels good for you, we'll just start to kind of loosen up these ribs while we're over in that side bend. So start to stand down into that foot. I like to reach my hand forward out in front of me first and then bring it up and over the head. Nice big deep breaths. As you're exhaling, start to rotate forward if that feels good for you. And we're thinking about this length that we're creating from that right sitting bone all the way up through the back of the body. Can you feel your lower right ribs opening, fanning open as you reach your right fingertips up at this diagonal? Take a couple of breaths here. And then maybe feel like if you have a bit more exhalation in you, see if you could take that even more, just kind of rotating around forward and then come back up into your side bend, up and over, reach your hand opposite direction so that you can reach up and over to this other side. Really nice. And then come back to the center. Bring that leg back in, and we're going to switch over to the other side. Good morning, Andy. Nice to see you. And then you're going to take your left foot out beside you. Make sure that your knee and your right knee and your left knee, they're both pointing forward. Your feet are pointing forward. And you can really kind of think about grounding that left foot into the ground. Make sure you've got enough room onto the right-hand side of your chair to place your hand down. And then you're going to reach up with your left arm, ground down into that left foot so that you can stretch up and over to this other side. Now, something that might happen here that you want to watch out for is that these lower ribs could jut forward, and you might feel like you're compressing into the lower spine. So to prevent that from happening, just think about letting these lower back ribs settle back into the back of the body and lift up and out of your lower back. So you feel like you're not compressing into the lower spine, you're actually lifting up out of it. Take a couple of breaths into those left ribs now. And then come back up. You can bend that left knee, lift up through the right arm, come up and over to the other side. Couple of breaths there. Let the shoulders feel like they're not tense. They're nice and relaxed and released. And then we'll come back over to that other side. Plant that right hand down. Reach your arm forward and then up, and really ground your left foot down so that you can reach up and over with that left hand. Feel your fingertips energized and kind of, you can imagine them spilling energy out of the fingertips. And then come on back up. Let's have a little counter stretch over to the other side. This time we're going to add in that rotation. So you're coming up, reaching up and over. You're going to start to rotate. Think about these lower ribs turning towards the floor, and that's what takes you around into this little bit of rotation. It doesn't really matter how far you get. You just want to feel like, again, these lower back left ribs can start to fan open so that you can breathe a couple of breaths. Maybe create a little bit more space there. And then feel maybe that the exhalation could take you a little bit farther around, and then unwind. Come back to the center. Come back up. Reach up with your right hand and counter stretch to the other side. Nice couple of breaths there. And then coming back to the center, even yourself out onto your chair. Now it should feel like you've got lots of length through both sides of the body. Just take both hands back behind the back of the head so that you can kind of use your hands to lift up through your spine, create more length there. Remember back to this idea of your skull being like a penthouse suite at the top of this high-rise building, and you could see every other building in town from your the top of that building. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, we're going to rotate around to the right side, and then come back to the center. Rotate around to the left side. See if you can keep the length of the spine going up, up, up towards the ceiling or towards the sky if you're thinking of your penthouse suite being at the top of your building. Nice big deep breath in and exhale. Turn from those lower ribs. See how far around that can take you. Last time, coming around to the left side. Grow up a little bit taller in the center. As you exhale, you're going to start to just allow the chin to fall to the chest and begin to curl and roll your ribs forward. So try not to collapse here. It's easy to let your lower back create a big C curve, but we're trying to keep your sat right on top of your sitting bones. As you inhale and come back up, we're just thinking about these lower ribs kind of being stacked continuously over the pelvis. So try not to let those collapse down. Try not to let the mid part of your spine curl too far back. And then inhale to come all the way back up. This time you're going to come through center. Reach with your chest up towards the ceiling. Reach with your gaze. You're lifting up and out of your lower ribs now. And then exhale to come forward. Chin towards the chest. Just have a little look between your knees. And then re-stack all the way back up. Lift your gaze. Lift your chest. It's as if your elbows are being lifted up towards the ceiling. Last time coming forward. And then last time coming up, lift with your gaze, lift with your chest, and then come back to the center. Let your arms release down for a moment, give them a little shake. And then we're going to combine those two movements of rotation and coming forward into that little rolling of the ribs. So take your hands back behind the back of your head. We're going to rotate around to the right side, and then you're going to exhale. And you're going to start to dive forward. So you're just coming into a little bit of a curl forward through those ribs like we did previously. And then inhale, stack yourself back up. You're still in rotation. Come back to the center and then over to the other side. So you're exhaling around to that side and you're just gently curling forward. Think about creating lots of length, lots of space through the spine as you inhale back up. We'll do that one more time to each side. Rotating around, exhaling to curl through those ribs. Again, think about all this space you're creating through the back of the body. Breathe a couple of breaths, maybe get a little bit more spacious there, and then re-step back up, back to the center. Last time around to the other side. And then come on back up. Come to the center. Just releasing, relaxing the arms down. Give them a little shake. Let's take the shoulders right up towards the ears. Exhale and just let them drop. 3 more times. Last time like that. And then take your arms up and out to the sides. You're going to slowly turn your palms towards one another as they come up and over the heads. Take a real big reach up towards the ceiling And then exhale and just allow the arms to come slowly back down. We're kind of like a corkscrew. So you can think about when you screw that corkscrew into the top of a cork, those little, I don't know what they're called, wings come up and over so that you can pull the cork out. Imagine you're like that cork being pulled out of the bottle. And then exhale, and now you're allowing those little wings to come back down. I'm going to do that twice more. So I like to have my palms facing down to begin with, and then they slowly turn to face up so that they're facing towards one another as they're up and over the head. Reach with your fingertips, really feel like you're pulling up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, let those palms turn face down. Again, we're going to do that one last time. And exhale. Okay. All right. So come and find a space where you can sit comfortably. No more thinking about having to hold a posture of any sort. I just want you to feel like you can find a space that you're really comfortable in. If that means that you're sitting onto the floor with some cushions supporting you, then go ahead and find that for yourself. We're going to spend these last moments in really just contemplation and allowing the body and the mind to settle even more after that lovely bit of just opening up through the sides of the body, opening up the ribs. Should just feel like now you can have a little bit more space and room to settle comfortably into your body. So when you're ready, just closing down the eyes. And we'll start with the body scan, starting in the crown of the head. So that space at the top of the skull, just taking a moment to notice anything, any sensations there. So any kind of feelings of heaviness, of lightness. Maybe there's pain there this morning or the absence of pain. Notice that for yourself. Notice whether you do this consistently, whether it feels different yesterday to today. For me, it takes a bit of time to settle the thoughts to the side and actually just focus in on the sensations. So notice what's happening for you, whether there's any resistance there this morning to just settling the thoughts, getting outside of the bubbles of your mind, the thoughts in your mind, and focusing on the actual sensations there. You feel like you've allowed that to happen a little bit more. Maybe it's not happening completely today. Begin to scan down through the front of the face. So you're scanning through past the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Again, just picking up on any sensations that you might be feeling there. And then scanning through the sides of the head, past the ears, past the sides of the jaw, and then past the back of the head, past the back of the skull. Scanning on down, noticing any sensations that you can pick up on and are aware of there. And then scan on down through the back of the neck, the front of the neck, down through the shoulders. Noticing any sensations at the tops, the sides, the backs of the shoulders, and then scan on down through the tops of the arms, the elbows, the forearms, and the hands. And then scanning on down through the chest, the abdomen, and the belly. We've created lots of space there with our breathing at the start of the session. So just noticing any sensations, any new things that you might be noticing there, or anything that might be slightly different to what you're used to feeling. And then scanning up through the spinal column to take you up to your upper back. Notice any sensations, pain, lack of pain, tightness, maybe a tension around the shoulders, maybe a little absence of tension. Scanning on down through the mid-back, the lower back, into the buttocks and the thighs, top of the thigh down through the mid, lower thigh, and then into the knees, and the lower legs, and into the feet. Letting your feet just spread out and relax into the floor, the supportive surface beneath you. And then bring all of your attention and your awareness back onto the breath. Now let's breathe in through the nose and out through the nose so that you can spend the next 5 minutes really focusing on that breath. And if it is helpful to count the breath and count from 1 to 10, starting back over at 1 again when you reach 10. And we'll begin that 5 minutes of silence now. And then just starting to bring your awareness back into the space around you, maybe moving your fingers and feeling textures, and moving your wrists, moving your shoulders, taking a couple of breaths, just to really appreciate these last few moments of stillness, and then opening your eyes. Thank you for joining me this morning. The next 2 days are going to be the last 2 days of these 30 days of movement and mindfulness. So I wanted to do something a little bit differently. We'll want to have a writing utensil and like either a journal or just some paper, whatever you can find, to start to jot some ideas down for what we'll be discussing, and then we'll go through a little guided meditation, which I think I find really helpful and I really enjoy. So I want to share that with you. But for now, enjoy your Sunday. Hopefully, again, you're doing something relaxing. At least you've gotten to take this little 30-minute break from whatever it is that you normally do on a Sunday. So anyway, I will see you back here 7:30 tomorrow. Enjoy your day. All right.